talk right now about whether or not a magazine or a newspaper in this country should get a rap over the knuckles from the press watchdog. This is Ipso, the Independent Press Standards Organisation, for stating facts, because that is exactly what they have done. The Spectator magazine, which has published an article back in May by brilliant journalist Gareth Roberts. I always read everything he writes. He's really a good writer. And there was an article in which he described a trans author, i.e. a man who identifies as a trans woman, who's an author, as a man who claims to be a woman. Said author, Juno Dawson, complained to Ipso that this amounted to discrimination on 3 different grounds. And in a very rare ruling, it was judged this did breach the editor's code of practice. And the Spectator has been forced to publish a ruling on its website. But the new editor of the Spectator, former Cabinet Minister Michael Gove, not at the magazine at the time, has described the ruling as outrageous and said, "I'm in no doubt this is an outrageous decision, offensive to the principle of free speech and chilling in its effect on free expression." Well, let's talk about this with Debbie Hayton, who is a journalist and also is a man who lives as a trans woman and is the author of Transsexual Apostate, My Journey Back to Reality. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, good morning, Julia.
Really appreciate you joining us now. It's absolutely extraordinary. We've had an awful lot of stuff going on social media over recent years, of particularly women coming under attack, getting abused, being removed from Twitter before Elon Musk bought it and turned it into X, for stating simple facts, which you, who lives as a trans woman, completely accept and understand. That a trans woman is a man. That's literally what literally the meaning, no, trans woman is not a woman. This is an article. I mean, it was all about Nicola Sturgeon, and it sort of was in passing almost about this author. The author complained 3 different grounds. 2 of them did not win, but on this one, it was described basically that it was unacceptable for this. Under clause 12 of the code, which deals with discrimination, it was unacceptable to describe the writer as a man who claims to be a woman, even though Juno is a man, born a man, and has a gender recognition certificate that says he is a woman, but that doesn't change his chromosomes, does it?
It doesn't change anything, Julia, apart from somebody's birth certificate. You go back and you change that and you put a different symbol on that, and that's all that does. The truth is that Juno Dawson has been very, very open about the past, and everybody knows Juno Dawson's background, so this is nothing special, nothing marvellous that Gareth's writing. He's simply saying what he believes to be true, and if journalists are not allowed to write what they believe to be true, then we're in very dangerous times.
Well, we already know that. I mean, I'm always horrified, and newspapers in this very building go along with this Ipso ruling on how one should identify somebody, particularly in a court case. So someone who is in court on trial for rape, who is, under English law, can only be a man, because only men have penises and only people with penises can rape, that they will be described by their preferred pronouns. And even if they've been charged as, John Smith, if they call themselves Jenny Smith, they'll be referred to as Jenny Smith in the court, Jenny Smith in the newspapers, and she and her, even though they talk about her penis, and she assaulted the woman. I mean, it is absolutely extraordinary that newspaper editors are going along with this and not standing up to it. At least the Spectator is saying, no, this is outrageous. Still, though, forced under this guidance, this is all post-Leveson, to issue, well, not, this policy, but to at least publish this ruling. But this is unacceptable for people to have their free speech about facts inhibited in this way.
Yes, it's wrong that a journalist is not allowed to say the facts as he sees them.
Well, that anyone.
The criticism here. But specifically, there's an issue in this clause of the code about gender identity. Juno Dawson's been able to make this complaint on the basis of gender identity. Now, what is gender identity? How on earth did this concept that nobody can define wormed its way into so much policy and so many documents? Yeah. That's what we need to root out.
And to be treated in the same way as race or sex or disability, actual realities, real facts that do impact people's lives and people have faced discrimination over. As a gender, I don't want someone abusing someone in the street or not employing them because they identify as a different gender. But I also don't expect that they or I should be forced to play along with it. if all
no,
expression.
there's a big difference between allowing somebody to get on with their life, like in my case, teaching children, writing pieces for the press, without being harassed for it. But it's totally different giving somebody a trump card when they can have their way over other people. That's not right.
Yeah, controlling their speech. Do you think the editors need to stand up on this? And speaking as someone who, who lives the opposite gender from the one they were born, do you think that actually all of that nonsense has got to stop? And editors, and frankly, I implore on them to frankly grow some cojones, whether they're born with them or not, to actually stand up on this stuff, because it's about reality and fact, isn't it, more than anything else?
Yeah, what we're seeing here is a ruling which goes against common sense. And rulings which go against common sense do look absurd. Yeah. So, as a result, the editor's code here is just looking absurd. Yeah, and absolutely. It's not just one publication, it's all publications are subject to this.
Absolutely. Debbie Hayton, thank you so much indeed for this. She's a journalist herself. Benedict Spence, I mean, look, we have a lot of rules about Ofcom. I mean, me saying trans women are men, that could have got us in a lot of trouble. I said the bosses here, I'll whatever the fine is, I'll crowdsource it. I'm sure our audience will happily pay for that. I'll pay for it myself. I refuse to lie.
Yeah, and it's the fact that actually they pulled them up not so much on, as you say, the facts of the matter, but the feelings. And it's when you've got to the position where the arbiter of truth, effectively, what can and cannot be published, is saying it's the feelings that matter rather than the facts.
You can choose to use someone's preferred pronouns if you want. You can choose to play along with the madness.
At that point, you have to ask, what is the point of this body, if that's what it's actually adjudicating on?
I think unfit for purpose. But I would say the same about Ofcom. Hi, Ofcom. Look forward to the next complaint.